A co-working space is a place where people who don't work in a normal fixed office come and work, collaborate.
A space where different workers, they could be freelancers, small businesses, they share the space doing different things.
You can have incubation, innovation, developing products, testing products, but then you could also have an individual freelancer who's running a creative business from their laptop.
Pre-pandemic, they were proliferating through cities, so we were noticing more and more co-working spaces on the high street, in towns.
We wanted to understand why they were growing, how can co-working spaces develop in a way which benefits the cities that they are based in, and also in a way which helps the people who are working in them.
So we're a group of academics who came together because we all have different disciplinary perspectives on co-working.
Looking at 3 cities in the UK, Bristol, Manchester and Brighton and Hove, we were interested in kind of looking away from London at how co-working spaces were growing.
So there was a trend that co-working was becoming more commonplace, more popular, better known, just all the way up to the pandemic, and then pause.
And then an obvious question to ask was, how are these spaces going to respond to the pandemic?
You know, they were faced with a contradiction really, which is how do you maintain a whole setup based upon co-location?
So it wasn't clear how they would relate to the furlough scheme. They just sort of fell through the cracks.
A lot of the co-working spaces had to shut down. They weren't equipped to respond to the pandemic.
Other spaces sensed opportunity for growth, the possibility of opening spaces in new kinds of areas, but in rural areas, small towns.
But we've also seen other spaces that have maintained online collaboration, and that kept certain vibrancy and kept them alive.
Our ways of working are about to change substantially. Getting to work and where we need to be.
So that obviously is very attractive to anyone who's looking at urban renewal and urban regeneration. The dynamics are changing.
They have an effect on people's lives. People work in them, they affect the economies of the cities that they're based in.
They're places where local business owners can go, do their work, but also network, be around like-minded people.
What we're trying to bring and innovate with this research is to try to understand co-working spaces as a certain kind of business model in a certain set of changing relationships.
And we research things because we want to improve the world, we want to make things better. And if we take a new sector or a new subsector like co-working spaces, we want to understand how they work, inform their growth and development in a way that benefits both the people who work in them, people who own them, and also the wider cities that they're based in.
So it might be that you're walking down the high street and then you notice that there's an old office building and there's people sort of working there, but there's no name of a company. Chances are it's a co-working space.
We'd all kind of like to work and spend our working lives in more social environments, and co-working spaces are great for that.
I think there's an element of having more choice around when we work and where we work and what we expect from a work environment when we do go into work.
What I hope for the future would be that co-working spaces can kind of weather the storm of the pandemic, but also they maintain their independence as a kind of form of infrastructure that can bring independent workers together, create forms of security and stability for those workers and community.